In today's video, we talk about how to get maximum fun out of your wargaming dollar with cheap, portable wargaming options. Well, hi folks, and welcome to the channel. I'm Lee, your old hammered host. So last night was miniature agnostic game night at our go-to friendly local game store, Heart of Gold Games in Longmont, Colorado. There are plenty of great game stores within driving distance of us, fortunately, but Heart of Gold is just 20 minutes away, and the management keeps the store open on every second Tuesday for our little indie gaming group. They certainly don't have to do this, but they do it anyway, and that is greatly appreciated. We are also fortunate that our group has an enthusiastic ringleader, our buddy Mark, who manages the email list and always shows up to game night with extra minis and such. That way newcomers don't need to bring anything, they can just jump into the games. The group began slowly. It used to be just a few of us for a long time, but now it is starting to gain some traction. We had 8 players last night, and there's probably an overall roster of 20 gamers who show up when they can, which is really great. So the game last night was Space Weirdos, a skirmish heartbreaker. People can bring and play whatever games they want to on game night, but designating one specific game ahead of time is helpful for folks who want to read the rules beforehand and then have their warbands ready to go when they show up. As I mentioned before, Space Weirdos is a 16-page sci-fi skirmish game that you can play with as few as 4 miniatures per person, so it has an ultra-low model count. It is also miniature agnostic, so you can use whatever minis you have access to, and the rules only cost $5, so it is very accessible. When it comes to miniature wargaming, for some folks, building and painting minis can be a barrier to entry. It's kind of intimidating. But for small games like Space Weirdos, a player could just buy a few Wizards of the Coast Star Wars miniatures on eBay, or pick up a squad of secondhand Warhammer figures like these guys here. I got these for $20, and I'm not going to repaint them because they are artifacts of the time they're from. But anyway, you could pick up something like this and you'd be good to go. So it's one of those games that you can play with very little investment in time or money. So for last night's game, I brought a squad of secondhand Void Assault Androsynths. These miniatures are currently sold by Seb Games, that's S-E-B, and I think you can get 6 of them for about $20, so they're not very expensive. Plus, the company just released a skirmish version of Void called Void Squad Tactics, which I've ordered a copy of, so as soon as it arrives from overseas, I'm sure we'll take a look at it on the channel. So as I said, these minis are secondhand, and what I like about them is most or all of them are one-piece metal sculpts, and the original owner coated them in gloss clear, which isn't normally my favorite, but it does make them more or less bulletproof. So whatever happens to these guys on game night, they're probably not going to get chipped or broken. This squad also includes a space chimp. I forget where he came from originally, but he controls these guys. He's kind of the mastermind. So he hides far away, and then the punching robots go into the thick of things and punch. Now I'll give another shout out to Mark. When he emailed the game night announcement several days ago, he included a Homebrew Space Weirdos builder app, which you can see here. So he made it himself, and it is pretty amazing. You just choose your squad options, and it automatically calculates the point values as well as the resulting buffs and nerfs. This is the type of thing that also lowers the barrier of entry, especially for newcomers, as it speeds up the whole squad creation process. So much so that I actually built 2 squads for last night, one for myself and one extra, just in case somebody dropped in and needed a team. So yesterday, as I was packing up and getting ready to go to the game store, it occurred to me that everything I had to bring was very compact. Both 4-man squads fit right in this case here. So I got my squad and the squad I loaned out in the same case, as well as the dice and the movement sticks. I didn't need to bring a whole bunch of books. All I needed was my PDF printout of the rules, a couple of army lists, and the reference sheet back there. So that's probably about 12 pages worth of documents. Then I usually like to bring a small box of miscellaneous tokens to mark combat effects, activations, command points, stuff like that. And people always ask me, where did I get these little wood tokens? I got these from Chessex. I think we bought these at a con that they were at. But if you go to the Chessex website, you know, the dice people, and look up tokens, you should be able to find these. They're really inexpensive, but pretty handy. And the great thing about this is that everything 2 people need to play the game is right here. Except for the terrain and the gaming tables, which were obviously provided by the game store last night, but those could be easily improvised if you were playing at your house. Space Weirdos can be played on a 2x2 area, which is what we did last night. So any card table or kitchen table would do. You could just throw down an old blanket if you wanted to. I think we used to get monochrome blankets at Walmart for like $4.95. Then just raid the pantry or the recycling bin for some makeshift terrain pieces, and boom, you're ready to roll some dice. Now, I know there's a lot of folks out there who get most of their hobby enjoyment from building and painting minis. They may never even play a game in their whole hobby career. And I also know that buying a new game system or a new big box set is kind of fun. I've certainly been there myself, though my attitude about that is changing. Also, I fully admit that there is something truly spectacular about a large gaming table packed with painted minis, but let's be honest, that involves a lot of setup and prep work, and sometimes the games themselves can become something of a slog as gameplay grinds on hour after hour. So let me propose a low-cost alternative. When it comes right down to it, if your goal is to hang out with some other hobbyists for a few hours each month, roll some dice, crack some jokes, and then get on with the rest of your life, this approach here maximizes the fun-to-investment ratio. Granted, this is a very minimalist approach, and you certainly could choose a skirmish game with a higher model count, but it kind of illustrates my point, which is that you do not have to spend a lot of money to be a wargamer, and you don't have to invest a lot of time in it either. I really believe that the smaller games I've played recently have been more fun than the larger ones, and at this stage of my life, I don't want to invest 6 to 8 hours in a game, in addition to all the setup and teardown. I might watch a game like that for a while, just because of the spectacle, but I don't want to slog through it. Give me a game night where I can show up, play a game for 2.5 hours, shoot the breeze for a while, and then go home. That's perfect. Now, having said that, for gamers who like being part of a vast global fan base, such as the Warhammer community, and who enjoy the good-natured and respectful Warhammer discussions prevalent on social media, then yeah, Space Weirdos isn't going to do it for you. That's really not part of the package here. But if you just want to roll some dice and push toy soldiers around for a few hours without spending a fortune in the process, then it just might. Anyway, that's my take on things. But what do you guys think? What is the secret to maximizing the fun-to-investment ratio? And how long should a game last before you pack it up and go get some nachos? Let me know in the comment section. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Okay, folks, that is a wrap on today's video. I'm very glad you could make it. Thanks very much for stopping by. We'll be back soon with some more wargaming nonsense, but until then, be careful out there. We'll see you next time.